Greetings, BSc 2011 students. This is an overview of milestone 1 of your Unit 2 project. And first I'm going to introduce the project in general, and then exactly what you'll be doing in milestone 1. So this project is designed to test the effects of climate change on flowering plants in a specific area of the world, and that's the Rocky Mountains. So what you're going to be doing overall in this project is looking at over 40 years of data that's been recorded year after year at this site, the Rocky Mountain Biological Laboratory, which is in Gothic, Colorado, sort of near Aspen, if you're familiar with that area. And for 40 years, the researchers there have been keeping track of climate data, so things like snowfall, snow melt, temperature, etc. And then also for over 40 years, been measuring aspects about the plants that are living in this region, particularly when they are flowering and how many flowers they are producing. So over the course of this project, you're going to be asking two main research questions. Number one, has the climate changed at this location over the last 45 years? And if so, how? And then what you're going to ask, and that's milestone 2, what you'll ask in milestone 3 is how have these climate shifts affected the growth and reproduction of the flowering plants in this area. Now, before you embark on those analyses, you're actually going to be assigned a plant species that you're going to be studying throughout this project, and different people in the class will be assigned a different species. So that is unit or milestone 1 of the project, and that's you're going to be assigned a plant species, and you're going to look up basic information about that species. That way you know more about it, so you can better interpret the data you'll be seeing in this project. So as I said, based on your last name, you'll be assigned a plant species, and then you're going to research what's called natural history information about that species and complete a worksheet. So by natural history, it's basically basic information about the life cycle and the location and the classification of a species. So where does it live in the world geographically? What's its mode of reproduction? For example, is it a seed plant or a vascular plant or whatever? What are its behavioral and ecological interactions with other species? In other words, what might pollinate these species that we're seeing here? What might eat those species? How might it adapt to those pollinators or herbivores, things like that? And then also, how is it classified? So what genus is it in? What family is it in? Things like that. So to complete this project, like I said, you'll be assigned one of these 4 flowering plant species shown here on this slide. And to know what species you'll be analyzing or looking up information about, you will go to this worksheet. Okay, so here is what the worksheet looks like. There's a brief introduction right here. And depending on what your last name is, you will see what your assigned species is. Now, be careful, look up the worksheet that is for your section. This is the Tuesday, Thursday section of spring 2021. So these letters might be different. Look at the actual worksheet that's on the Canvas page. So like I said, what you'll be doing is looking up information on the internet about your species. And the things that you're going to look up are things about its classification. Is it vascular or non-vascular? Is it seed or seedless? Flowering, non-flowering, and you're going to put it into a group based on those aspects. You're also going to ask whether it's a monocot or a dicot, what family it's in, and what the common name of that plant is. So kind of a narrower classification there. I will ask you to look up characteristics of its growth in life history. Is it a tree? Is it more of a bush? Is it a an herb, like a an herbaceous plant that's more weedy looking? Right? What are we talking about here? And there's a website here that you can go to that defines what those growth habits are. I'll ask you if it's annual, biennial, perennial. That means does it live for 1 year, or does it live for 2 years, or more than 2 years? An individual. I'm going to ask you where it lives in terms of its geography, as well as its elevation and the habitat it lives in. You're going to be asked about its reproductive biology. What color are its flowers? How many flowers does it produce? What do the flowers look like? And what do the fruits look like? Are they dry? Are they fleshy? Are they simple, multiple, or aggregate? The things we talked about in lab this semester. And then finally, you'll be asked to talk about its ecological interactions with humans and other species. What are its main pollinators, and how is it adapted to those pollinators? What are the main things that eat it? And does it have adaptations to defend itself? What do you think is interesting about this plant species? Finally, you're going to copy and paste a picture of the species at the end, and that will be the assignment for you. Now, to help you, there's a website you can check out initially. This won't have all the information, but it will help you on your way, and it's located on this. The link is on this worksheet. So what I'd recommend doing first is checking that out, and you can just copy and paste your species into that website. And this is a database that's run by the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, which also runs the Forest Service. So it maintains a plant database. So up here it says name search. You can just put in the name of your plant there, and it might list several different scientific names here. Find the one that's most appropriate. In this case, we want Delphinium nuttallinium. So we're going to click on this link for the two-lobe larkspur. And so already we can see some information about its distribution. In green here is the states where it lives, and the provinces in Canada. It says the group and the family, also things you need to figure out, as well as the duration and growth habit. So those are helpful information right here on this screen. There are also some information about there's images that you can use. Of course, that's one of the things you have to do in this worksheet. And not all of this is available for every plant, but for, I think, the majority of them this is. It shows the classification, also something that's on this worksheet. And then you'll see some related links as well that might help you. Again, there are more or less links depending on what your species is. But anyway, this is a good start. Like I said, it will not be enough to answer all the questions, but it will certainly help you on your way. So that is the intro to the, again, Unit 2 project in general, and then Unit 2 Milestone 1. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.